All right. I think I'm live. At least I hope I am. I want to jump over here and just make sure I came up. Come on. Come on. Well, it looks like it, but okay. Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. Let me make sure I am. Probably should have did this before I went live, but I'm sorry, people. Okay, you can stop. I was watching you earlier, but mm, well, we'll check YouTube later. I'm pretty sure it's up and going. Come on, I don't have all day. Don't have all day. There we go. Yeah, we're live there. So, wanted to come on and if you saw the description or at least the heading for this particular video, was thinking about this morning, and which is what are you thinking about? And this is interesting because when you think about it, I was reminded of a book that I read called The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And he was, Earl Nightingale was one of the first, well, not one of the, not to say the first, but one of the early communicators of personal success. And one of the things that he was challenging his audience to do was the reason why most people are not successful is because they don't think. And he went through this illustration of if you took 100 men and tracked their lives for 40 years, five would be, well, one would be extremely wealthy, five would be independently, well, four or more would be independently wealthy, and the other 20% would be basically living off of the needs of the day-to-day needs. I mean, the needs of the government or something of that nature. And a large part, a huge part, something in the neighborhood of 50-55% would be broke. And I'm sorry, there was a number of that's going to be dead. Out of 100 men, the number was going to be dead, and then there was going to be broke. And so, and he was trying to challenge his audience to think, to consider this, that one of the things that we don't do actively is govern our own thoughts. And so as I said, for those of you who miss Earl Nightingale, oh, I'm writing on something, but you don't see what I'm writing. So let me let me bring that up so that you see what I'm doing. Well, that didn't show up the way I wanted it to. Let's switch it around. Okay. Earl Nightingale, and again, the book he wrote is called The Strangest Secret. I'll encourage you to get that book, read it. It's a short story. It's a short little book. It probably takes you all of 30 minutes to read, if that long. And he spoke about the fact that a lot of people don't think. And when you think about it, if you were to write down another gentleman I extremely admire named Michael Klaus, He's a network trainer, network marketing trainer, or business consultant, and he's currently in the top of his income, like the top earner in the company that he's with. And but nevertheless, he for a number of years he was just a trainer, and he was just out there challenging people or instructing people and giving them ways of moving from wherever they are in their life to a success. And what I love about his story was that he came from nothing, and I'm always enamored by those individuals who seemingly don't have any great pedigree, any great structure early on in their life, but they someone crossed their paths and challenges them to be better than what who they are. And I want to give his entire story. I mean, I think I have his story somewhere down on my page here. But nevertheless, he created the series after having some level of success in his life and work. Began to coach others, and one of the things he created this series, this audio that says "Thinking Your Way to Success," and in the audio, he chronicled the various philosophies or the various success in individuals out there, the trainers, the business trainers, and what they all came to an agreement on is that your life is going to be what you think about. And so, I go back to the question: what have you been thinking about? And when you're living in today's world, and think about this: 30 years ago, our information was limited based on the various mediums that we were exposed to. Now we're exposed to more than we can count. Thousands upon thousands of people who are out there who are communicating some type of content for you to consider, and some of it is good, and some of it is just flat out nasty, bad. It is not worthy of your thoughts, but it is so sensational that for whatever reason, the Bible speaks about the eye. It says the eye has a tendency; it can't get enough of seeing, you know, and this is a weakness of ours. And so once you put something is cross your path, you have to make a thought, or you have to make a decision rather to not entertain that content in your head, because you don't have time. You don't have time to spend thinking about things that doesn't prosper you, that doesn't help you grow, that doesn't causes you to be better. And so, from that standpoint, you have to take charge of your own thoughts. You have to become the master of your own thoughts. There are some meditation audios, and even now, I think there is various forms of apps that are on the platform. Definitely on Apple. I don't know about the Google, but definitely on the Apple Store, where they will assist you in going into a state of meditation. And meditation is just really, I mean, in what I'm talking about this crazy esoteric type thing. I'm talking about just calming yourself down, getting yourself to a place where you can either one, just be at peace. And so, and one of the things I've in years ago when I used to listen to meditation, because my head was just, your thoughts in your head just running and going on and on and on. And it's amazing, like the eye doesn't have a problem with seeing, the mind doesn't have a problem with thinking thoughts that are not necessarily good for it. And so you have to govern, you have to master, you have to take control of your own thoughts. And so through a series of breathing techniques, this meditation table will challenge you. Says, look, take control of your thoughts, calm yourself down, quiet the noise in your head, so you can get some rest, so you can get to a state of peace. And so, along that line, I challenge you again, ask you the question: what have you been thinking about? What have you been thinking about? What have you been allowing to go through your head over and over and over again that is not producing or cannot produce the result that you really want? The result that you really want, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Now, the rest of the story behind that particular scripture, it was speaking about that if you went to someone who or had dinner with an individual, with a person who invited you, but he really didn't have your best interest. In fact, the previous verses says, "Put a knife to your throat." Don't entertain his delicacies. That type of thing. He says, because though he is serving you, or though you're sitting at his table eating of his table, his heart is not for you. And so the proverb really speaks to the fact that what goes on in the man's heart is really who he really is, as opposed to what he's displaying his character and his personality to be. And we had a capacity to do that. We had a capacity to be duplicitous. Where we are smiling and we're laughing, and we can act as if we are going along with the person, but really and truly in our heart, we have different thoughts. We're incongruent between what we're actually doing at the time and what we're actually entertaining in our heart about the person. And so to get a singleness of mind, you have to take control of your thoughts, because all of the thoughts are not yours. All of the thoughts are not yours, but I'm not going to go into all of how various thoughts come in your head. Definitely, they're not yours when you're entertaining informational diet that is from everyone and everything. And if you don't cut yourself off from various sources of information that don't feed your spirit, doesn't feed your mind, doesn't educate you, doesn't inform you about something that is worthy of your attention, it's going to be there just to clog your mind. And the thing that you have to understand is that your thoughts are seeds. And your thinking process helps cause that seed to manifest in your life. And the funniest thing, and this is the work of the enemy, is to get you to think about things that you do not want, because when you think about things you do not want, they will manifest in your life. So you have to take control of your thoughts to a point that you can say, okay, I am not going to give place to the enemy to cause me to think about things that are not healthy or not good. So you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional about your thought process. And I have to tell you, this is a daily practice. So much so, if it's like learning how to walk or run or do a particular task that you want to master. You have to think a certain way consistently, at least intentional. So you have to have some type of mechanism that causes you to say, okay, I am not going to allow random thoughts to run through my head. When I get up, I'm going to have a series, routine rather, that's going to help orient my thoughts. For some of us, for me, it's prayer. And then for me, it's, the reading of the Bible. And even then, you have to determine what you need to pray about or what you need to write about. Because even in your prayer life, if you don't take control of your thoughts will invade your prayer life and interrupt what you're trying to set aside as sacred time between you and God. And so you have to be selective about what you're going to be a part of your informational diet, because it's going to create the thoughts in your mind. All right, and so you got to do that, and you one of the things you want to say, okay, what type of content, what type of information do I need to govern? I love this particular passage of scripture. I probably don't read it enough to help gauge what type of content that I need to take in. And it's a particular verse in Philippians 4:8. And I'm not going to read the entire verse. I'm just going to highlight the things that it says to think about. It says, whatsoever things that are true, are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, of good report, if they have any virtue, if they are praiseworthy, it says, think on these things. Now that category is broad enough for you to go down and says, okay, I'm going to take the time and write out whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest. Okay, y'all, working my penmanship right here because it's better than this, but it is what it is today. Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, of good report. Okay, yeah. If they have any virtue and is worthy of any praise, I should say praiseworthy. It says, I want you to think on these things. As I said, my penmanship is generally better, but I'm scribbling today. Think on these things. You know, if you were to take the time and begin to decide that you want a better life and establish some goals in your life, and you don't have a goal until, I used to tell my kids all this time, until you write it down. It's just something you want to do until you write it down. You don't have a goal until you write it down. You write down your goals and think on the things that are true, honest, just, pure, lovely, good report, virtuous, or praiseworthy about your goal. That's enough to give your mind something to do, because if you don't give it instructions, it's going to think on anything that is a part of your daily informational diet. That means you have to begin to cut yourself off. What I like about some of the social media platforms is that when you get content that you don't care for, just don't turn away from it. Take the time, go to the ... like if you're on YouTube, and select not interested, or go to the to the settings of it, and just for that particular content, not interested, don't want to see that anymore. And the algorithms, because the social media platforms want you to stay on their platform, they don't want you to turn away. They're going to begin to send to you content that you are oriented, that you want to watch, and so you won't get a lot of garbage in your interest. It won't show you a lot of just garbage. It'll recommend things that is consistent. Once you started saying yes, I like that, and no, I don't like that, you'll begin to change the information that it's providing you. Same thing with the conversation you have with people. It's too easy for us to gossip. It's easy to us to get into conversations that are not praiseworthy, that are not virtuous, that are not good report, not lovely, not true. That's sad. but you got to be able to take control of your thoughts if you're going to create a better life for yourself. So I just wanted to jump on and just share this, and hopefully that you will begin to take charge of your life in such a way that that you begin to orient and see some of the results that you really want out of your life. I promise you this: if you don't change what you're thinking about, you're not going to change what you're going to get out of life. It just doesn't happen. You can do it for a season, because we're master at thinking that we're multitasking. We but you're going to have to begin to cut yourself off from all of the garbage. And I say garbage, and that's, all of the content that doesn't meet the category of Philippians 4:8. It's not true. It's not honest. It's maybe not just. Definitely may not be pure, not lovely, of good report, not virtuous, not praiseworthy. Let that be the filter by which you determine what type of content that you should ingest. Your mind, your eye is going to want to see everything and any and everything, and you have to take control so that you can govern your thoughts, so you can begin to establish a foundation of what you want to accomplish